think it was Marcus Stroman who had some tweets showing him like just rocketing the ball. Like the dude can throw. He can hit high velocities on the radar gun. My problem is, how would he possibly sustain that?
Spoiler alert, Evan didn't see those tweets.
Oh, that's right. You can't see them because he blocked you.
I'm blocked.
In the beginning, there was baseball. It is Thursday, April 9th, and I am CJ. You can catch me on Twitter at CJ in Pinstripes. Evan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. You can catch me at Evan D. Wetzel 4 on the Twitter. This is 27 Down, perfect podcast for the perfect game. We got a good show for you today. Our Grunt Talks buddy, Michael Torres, is here, so he's going to have a good interview with us. Let's do this.
Mike, how you doing?
Fantastic today. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Welcome. We're glad to finally have someone from the team on. Why don't you let everyone know what's your role at Grunt Talk?
God, well, I was supposed to be the food guy when we started, but we didn't get any baseball season. So I went from guy who goes to stadiums, eats, writes reviews, to guy who writes about 9-year-old kids in Arizona, or guy who writes, this is what I made in my kitchen today. Just keeping busy like everyone else, waiting for baseball to come back. Guy who argues with people on Twitter,
Yeah, sounds like fun. Oh, so I see you've taken the arguing on Twitter job away from Evan. I see that.
No. He's perfected that.
That's still my role.
I
got
I'm
blocked
just not
today,
around
actually.
enough to
It
see
was great.
You got what? Huh?
I got blocked today.
What, by one person?
Yeah, or like 2 people.
Oh, okay. Because I would imagine that's just your thing. Like you just get blocked.
Yeah, on average, I get blocked about 3 times a day, 4 times a day.
So do you like go to these people? Like, what is it? Like you're just having an argument and suddenly they don't respond, and you're like, "Let me go check this out," and you can't.
I get reckless, bro. I get reckless on the Twitter. It's not good for me.
You're going to get your account suspended.
I never have. In the 2 years that I've been an asshole on Twitter, I have never gotten it suspended more than like 3 hours.
That's astounding. With some of the stuff you've shown me that you've said to people, that's astounding. Listen, everyone. Listen. Evan's a great guy. I promise. His Tinder profile says so. I'm just kidding. He doesn't have a Tinder profile. I'm JK. Just kidding. That was a joke. He's a great guy. He really is. He just gets, pissed off at Yankee games when people follow him around.
I lost half my friends on that one. That was a rough game. But anyway, Michael's here. We're supposed to be talking to him, so ask him some questions.
Hold on. This is BS. Because I'm trying to ask you, what are we going to talk about today? And this is my episode, apparently. Hey, Mike, what do you think about Jose Bautista trying to become a two-way player?
You know what? I don't blame him, because as these guys get older, they're just trying to hold on. And who was the guy for the Cardinals who came back and he actually made a career out of it? He was a pitcher. He blew his arm out and he came back as an outfielder.
Rick Ankiel. Yeah.
And he was able to pull it off. It's rare. And because Jose Bautista is so unlikable, I hope he fails at it. But, I get what he's trying to do.
So the thing is, I think it's a lot harder to go in the opposite direction. I think if you're going on 40, it's a lot more difficult to try to put your arm through, playing in 50 plus games and pitching for 60 innings or so. At that age, I don't know how he would possibly pull it off. I actually saw the tweets from Marcus. I think it was Marcus Stroman who had some tweets showing him just rocketing the ball. Like the dude can throw. The dude can hit high velocities on the radar gun. My problem is, how would he possibly sustain that?
Spoiler alert, Evan didn't see those tweets.
Oh, that's right. You can't see them because he blocked you.
I'm blocked.
That's hilarious. Dude, blocked by a professional athlete. How does it feel?
Pretty terrible. I just wanted to have a conversation with him about how trash he is, and he wouldn't have it. It was terrible.
How dare he? What a piece of crap. So so here's the problem with Bautista's plan, other than his physicality and being able to hold on to it. Starting this year, there's now a limit on the number of pitchers that you can have on a team. So I think it's 13. So if you're going to have a guy on who's a pitcher, why would it be the guy who just started doing it yesterday? The only way he can go around this is if he becomes a two-way player. If he can, I think the designation is, it's like you have to play 20 games as a hitter and 20 innings as a pitcher. If you do that, you qualify as a two-way player, and now you don't take up one of those 13 slots. But now the problem is Jose Bautista can't hit anymore either. So you want him to do two things that he probably sucks at.
I mean, I wouldn't trust him in the outfield anymore either.
Yeah, probably not. He was never all that great an outfielder anyway.
No, he had an arm, but he never had range or any of the other abilities. His arm was pretty much it.
Right. So what do you think then? I mean, you've been kind of
I mean, I think it's interesting for him to try. I have heard that he has gotten up to like 94, 96. That's pretty good for someone who is not a pitcher. But it's a weird transition.
Right? Because, like we said, he has a cannon in the outfield.
Right.
That should translate to a solid.
Yeah, it should. But I don't think he's gonna see success. I don't even think we're gonna see him do it at the major league level, to be honest.
The sinker was pretty nasty too. He threw a sinker.
I did not see his sinker.
It was pretty good. Hey, he's got talent. He's a talented guy, but I just don't think he's going to hold up. At this point, I would say I would probably think at least in the short term, he'd probably be a better pitcher than he is a hitter at this point. But
probably.
He just would not be able to hold it up.
I want to see him pitch to Odor so bad. just beam the shit out of him first pitch and be like, okay, that's why I came back, guys. Peace.
Yeah.
Then he'd get beat up again. He's gonna want to charge the mound and he'd beat him up again. The other thing about carrying him is the minimum faced. He's gonna have to, he can't just come in and get it out. He's gonna have to come in and pitch to three people this year.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not. There's no way you're gonna. There's no way you're going to have only 50 games and I don't know. Yeah, that would inflate his innings pitched. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, unless he was always brought in with 2 outs, but what are the odds of that actually happening? Cool. All right. Yeah, that was good talk. What else we got? We can talk opt-outs. At this point, a pretty sizable chunk of the season is gone. There's 3 players that I can think of that have opt-out clauses after this season. The 3 are Castellanos on the Reds, JD on the Red Sox, Stanton on the Yankees. So can we see any of those guys? I'll start with you, Mike. Of those guys, who do you see opting out?
0 chance Stanton opts out. 0, because no one's going to pay him what he gets from the Yankees. He's there. A guy from the Reds probably opts out because he's going to get, pitching, you could get a boatload, and JD's probably going to opt out because Red Sox are probably going to have a couple of rough years, and again, he could probably get paid anywhere because he hits, especially if he plays half a season and he hits like he has the last 2 years.
Yeah. What do you think, Evan?
Yeah, no, I agree. Stanton, there's no way in hell he opts out. I mean, he would have to literally have his MVP season again, and then he might opt out, and even then he probably wouldn't. His contract is great. It's great for him, and it's going to last, another 8 years or something? There's no reason to opt out on that. JT might, if he has a great season. I think it makes sense to, especially with the direction that the Red Sox are going into. And Castellanos, if he has a terrible season, he might not, because remember a couple years ago when Mike Moustakas decided not to take the qualifying, and then he ended up getting only $5 million instead of the 16 that he would have gotten if he took in the qualifying. I don't think players are going to opt out unless they know they can get that money.
Yeah, really quickly before I give you my thoughts, anytime someone mentions the qualifying offer, I got to tell my favorite qualifying offer story. It's Kendry Morales. Kendry Morales declines the qualifying offer from the Mariners. He goes without a deal until after the draft, so that the draft pick is no longer attached to him. He signs for only like $8 million and is traded to the Mariners. Fucking hilarious. I love that so much. Who did Kendry Morales think he was?
Who did he sign with?
It was the Twins.
And then they just
they traded him to the Mariners.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
My thoughts, yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think Stanton's going anywhere. Evan, I think you actually hit the nail on the head that even if he does have, like if he were to hit 60 home runs and bat 350, I don't think he opts out because the dude is owed $250 million. And yeah, I think it is another 8 years. I could be wrong about that, but who else is going to top that? Who else is going to give him more than that? It would be a risk, and who knows? Maybe it does happen, but I can't see it happening. So Stanton's not going anywhere. I do think JD is going to opt out. What's that? What? Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
No, I was just going to say with money that high, the only teams that realistically could afford someone like him are the Yankees, the Dodgers, maybe the Red Sox, the Cubs if they want to move some stuff around. But those teams don't want him. They don't need him, and they're not going to do it. They're going in different directions right now. So he really doesn't have the options, and he's going to know that, just like he knew how to play the Mariners, the Marlins market well when the only option to be traded was the Yankees. True.
And I think JD opts out, and I think that Castellanos is owed like another $48 million. I don't think he opts out unless he has like this massive breakout season.
Yeah.
Then maybe, but I don't think it'll happen.
He's a good player, but I don't think he's more than a, top 60, top 50 type. And that's not – you're not banking on anything opting out right now.
Yeah. Agreed. Dude, that's all I had, so I need your help here. What else are we talking about? Mike, what do you want to talk about? You got any topics you're interested in discussing?
I was going to say, I could just start. Well, are we going to talk about the Arizona rules that came out this week? Did you talk about that on the last one? The potential of the bubble city?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but we would love your thoughts on it.
No, I mean, I think it's funny because as big as news was on Monday, it was dead now. You haven't heard about it in the last couple of days. A couple players have spoken about it, but no one's really talking about it like they were a couple days ago, which tells me it's probably not going to happen. I think they probably are going to start floating some things in the media and seeing what gets legs. And if something does kind of get the players behind it and get the fans behind it and get the media, then they'll start being like, okay, we can actually roll this. This is going to work. But I think the response on that was so negative that they were like, back to the drawing board, roll something else out. And by next week, I wouldn't be surprised if you see another tweet come out from like a Passan or Buster Olney that says, hey, this is what they're thinking now. 2 leagues, Arizona and Florida. They're, and roll something else out and see if people buy into it. Because when you start changing stuff like the innings, the amount of innings and stuff played in a game, you're changing what the game is, and I think that's what bothers people the most. I'll watch less baseball all day. I don't want to watch 7-inning games.
Yeah, I hear you. I completely agree with you. I always say it's the powers of 3. You want to get those 3, 9, 27. Those are the magic numbers in baseball. So the minute you start to tinker with that, the minute you start to change that, now you're just changing the DNA of the game.
What are you watching, Evan?
Indiana Jones.
I thought it was. I saw it in the background, and I was like, is that Indiana?
That brings me to my next question. What is the most disappointing movie you were overly hyped about that really sucked?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And I'm going with this one, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull bullshit, whatever that one was.
That's a pretty bad one. I remember that one too. But I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be bad.
I didn't think there would be aliens and all that other crap.
I mean, Shia LaBeouf is in it. Of course it's bad.
Yeah.
For me, it's got to be when they redid the Star Wars the first time, not the second time, with Jar Jar Binks. Those I was so hyped, and although I thought the third one in that series was the best, the first
that one wasn't terrible. Yeah, the third one in the trilogy. Yeah, you're right. Agreed.
The part where he turns into Darth Vader and he's like crawling on the ground with like half a body. Like they ended it really well, but God, the first two were awful.
Yeah, I think the second one was worse than the first, but Jar Jar was the worst single thing about that entire series.
He's such a shitty character. Awful.
I mean, I would take 100 Hayden Christensen's before I take a single Jar Jar. For me, I would probably say Suicide Squad. I thought that was going to be a really good movie, and it was cheeks. It was absolutely. I mean, the one good thing about it was Will Smith, and that's about it. Nobody else mattered in that movie.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either. I agree that was kind of a disappointment. Now, I have a question. Was the 3 Star Wars they just did, if you're a Star Wars person, did they redeem themselves there? Did you like these 3?
I actually have gone on the record several times in saying The Last Jedi is the worst Star Wars movie. Out of all 9 plus. So you got the 9 main movies and the spinoffs. I thought so. If we're doing the most recent trilogy, I thought Episode 7 was solid. I didn't think it was. I thought it was a fun movie. It was basically a reboot. It was basically Episode 4 all over again. But I thought it was cool. But Episode 8, oh my God, they just destroyed that movie. I thought it was the worst.
I thought with Disney, it just it was weird. It just felt like a very Disney version of it. Maybe because I was younger when I saw the original ones, they seemed more edgy and more cool. And this one, they just seemed to like replicate the same jokes and stuff like that. It wasn't as good. And I was like, it's all right. It was all right.
I
hate all of them. They're all trash. I only like Rogue One. That's the only one.
Rogue One was good. I liked Rogue One. Rogue One was. I will agree. Rogue One was good.
Like, how many Star Wars are they going to make? Are they going to have like 6 more?
Yeah, probably. They're going to make all the money in the world with it.
We're going to have the Lando movie, and then we're going to have probably a Chewie movie.
They canceled the damn Boba Fett movie.
Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah. That really turns my knobs, let me tell you. Not in a positive way. What else we got, damn it? Evan, you come up with something. All right? I came up with something. Even Mike came up with something. He's not even one of the hosts of this show. Now you got to come up with something.
I just asked the movie question.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Darren called about 5 minutes ago while we were filming, by the way.
Of course he did. Of course he loves to talk, man. He texted me today and he said, 1 second. I want to talk to you for 1 second. We were on the phone for a half hour.
Yeah, of course.
It's the perfect opportunity for us to shout out to grunttalksmlb.com.
Check it out. The website is great. We're pushing new content almost every day, so check it out, guys.
We're booming, folks. We're booming, and you're missing out if you haven't checked it out.
All right, is that the show?
I guess that's the show. Hey, I miss baseball. We need it back so we can actually talk about stuff.
You're right. Thanks for coming on, Michael. This was awesome.
Yeah,
really fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, come on again. It was fun.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. I'm going to give a shout out to, I did an article this week about Connor in Arizona. He's the 9-year-old kid who did the COVID-19 baseball challenge, does some catching drill videos, challenges other kids. And he did an article and an interview with me that's on Grunts Talk, and just want to give him a shout out this week.
Super.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, guys.
Say the line, Evan.
This is 27 Down, the perfect podcast for the perfect game. Take care, guys.
Peace out.